Elle's another private client as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she can understand what we're talking about. Clearing all of the past energies that actually still keep us and, you know, to keep torturing us without realizing, and nobody else knows on the outside. And we just keep functioning. We just have this facade on the outside, and, you know, and then it's just going, oh my God. But when you're out, when you're light, and you're seeing it from a different point of view instead of in like this, and you're seeing it from above, you just go, you just have such compassion, you know. And because we're the age that we are as well, is the best part, you know, that we actually get a second chance or another chance at life. You know, that's the best part of it all as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So we're going to get started. If everybody, and there's quite a few people that want this as a recording anyway, so they'll catch up another time. So welcome. This is Fawn to Fearless, and I really want to do from Fawn to Fearless and then Fearless to Freedom, because that's what it is. Once you understand the fawn and how it works, you know, you have such compassion for it. You go, oh my God. But it had the wrong set of rules. You know, it just, at some stage, this beautiful Fawn Trauma Response has actually said, I don't trust the world. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust myself. I don't trust anybody else around me. And so it's just taken over this persona, and it gets into the nervous system and it takes control. If you can think of, and whenever I'm doing any of the, you know, your private sessions and things like that, if you can have a look behind, there's all these, it's almost like it's the guard, it's, you know, it's taken over, and there's all of these little cells, and each little cell belongs to a memory. Each little cell has had some sort of trauma happening, and so it's in charge of all of that. So if you want to escape or you want to move out of there, then you've got to go past the big guard with the keys and stuff like that. And it is still locked. You know, it still thinks it is, you know, whatever age it is. It doesn't realize that you have grown up. And the other lie that you say to yourself as well, that I could never survive, I won't survive. You know, that was what was told to you or in your mind. But you are your age that you are. And then you have a look back and you go, I've been believing that lie. I've been holding that lie. But in actual fact, I'm still functioning, but I'm dysfunctional. You're functioning in life, you're living in life, but you're dysfunctional. You're going for something, and they're not, no, we can't do that. Step back. You know, you lose your voice. And I'll just go through some of them. You lose your voice. You can't speak up. And if you speak up, it just reminds you immediately, you know, it's just split seconds like that. You're about to talk, and split seconds is Fawn Trauma Response. Just remembers several times. So it can't be just once, because once it just moves through. It's 2 or 3 times, and then it continues. And it sort of like builds on, you know, one experience is fine. Yeah, I got shut down. But second, third, fourth, it goes, oh, it's a repeating thing. And so it's locked in. It goes, I can't do this anymore. This must be how I must be. You know, so it's already programmed into that fawn, into the fawn. And it says, so your voice, I can't speak up. And if I go to speak up, it's locked into the nervous system. So you lose the words. You can't remember the words. There's a fear comes up. There's a part that blocks out, freeze, you know, you do the freeze part as well. You just, oh my God. So you can run through the freeze, the flight, the fight as well. But in your younger life, you tried those ones and it didn't work. You know, at some stage, you know, as a little toddler, and it could be such a tiny little age that you're throwing tantrums, you're fighting away. You could be, I want to run away. Maybe you've thought of packing your bags as a little tiny kid and running away, but you get brought back. So you've still got all of these little tiny things. I could never escape. And wherever I go, And so this fawn is keeps you captive without realizing until later on. And again, when you look back, you go, oh, that's where that happened. That's where, and I survived. The biggest thing is that you survived. But what I want you to do now is you don't need to survive. It is really exhausting. In this nervous system all the time. You're about to go for something. You're an adult. You lose your voice. You lose something else. Oh my God, what a dick I am. It's only because the fawn has made up this little system on the inside. You need to be safe. You need to be protected. You need to survive. Again, it's forgotten that you've grown up. It's forgotten that who you are now. And it's just constant. So it's reminding. So the more that I'm talking to you about in each of the classes, because each class, each week, it's a different one. So we're going into the voice. What is it? Voice, value, visibility, vulnerability, vision, and then the victory. All right. So they're one after the other. And I'll be able to send you notes as well for all of this. But the voice, speaking up, speaking out. This is what I want. This, if you can understand as well, the voice taking it's like a slave, and it's you are given, you just do what you're told. You dare use that voice, you're going to be struck down, you're going to be whatever it is. So and as I said, it's like a split second. You've got no idea as an adult, but when this fawn comes into it and takes over your persona, your adult self gets pushed back. And then later on, your adult self comes forward and it ends up being, it just, what the hell happened? Like you're being hijacked by the fawn. Does that make sense to you at all? Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure does.
Yeah, and you just go,
yeah.
no, I didn't want that. I didn't want this. And it's like, being hijacked without realizing. But once you understand it, you can actually catch yourself in the moment and you go, actually, no, and you sort of like put yourself forward. But until you understand that, until you get to know the triggers, and there's little lead ups to it, but as soon as you know it, then you can actually change it. Stop. No, I'm in charge here. Stop. No, I'm in charge here. And what you're doing is you're just reprogramming, retraining this fawn. This fawn has taken, like I said, it took over the role it didn't trust other people around. It didn't trust you because you're only little. Why would it trust you? Because other people have abused you, other people have neglected you, other people have done whatever it is. And so instinctively, because it is an animal instinct, your heart gets shut down. No one's going to touch my heart again without realizing it. And when you have a look at a little kid, a lot of times, a lot of the clients that I have, they're only 2 and 3 years old that have actually closed down their heart. They've got no idea of words and stuff like that. But instinctively, they can hear, the voice or the anger, the emotions and stuff like that around. So their body starts going into the nervous system. They can see things that are happening, but they can't do anything about it. So again, it's all getting programmed and all sifted in. And then all of a sudden something happens and the fawn just, that's what I need to do. It doesn't work for me to fight. It doesn't work for me to fly. And it doesn't work for me to freeze. Now I have to then change myself into fawning. Fawning is the chameleon. Your visibility is a really big one. Instead of being visible, you're behind the scenes. And have a look at yourself as an adult. You'll be behind the scenes, unless it's your kids. You're the mother wolf for your own children, but for everything else, you'll be behind the scene. You'll be assisting other people. You'll be helping other people because then you're needed you're wanted. And if I'm in the group, then I'm going to be okay. I'm going to survive. If I'm out by myself with fight flight, I'm going to be attacked. I'm not going to survive. So instinctively, it's already set up and it's already pre-programmed. But when you have a program, you can undo that program and then you can train it the way you want it, the way you need it. So that's what, all the way through, it's just repetitious. Okay, so, the voice, what are we got to do that? What about our value? Actually, I'll do the visibility still a little bit more. Chameleon. You become the chameleon. You fit in. How would you like me to be? What would you like me to do? And that chameleon you become that. And then later on in life, usually it's really a while ago, it used to be midlife crisis, but now it's sort of like, later on. The midlife crisis is actually when your soul and your heart said, I've had enough. I don't want to do this. I don't want to play this game anymore. And they go berserk, but they live their truth. It's almost like a Hulk, and they break out of their prison, so to speak. And they do all the things that they've always wanted to do. And it's just horrified so many people around them. But that's what internally they've always wanted to do. Most of the times they will keep going and they don't ever look back. Sometimes they get put back into their box because that's how we like you, in the box. So you're finding out where you became the chameleon, and then it's undoing that. And how can I be put out in front? How can I be seen? One of the ones that you'll understand in there is you'll go through, pictures. Who's taking all the pictures? Who's taking all the, and when you go to have a look, you took the picture, but you're not in the picture. You're like, oh, okay. But I'm okay about that. But then you have to, no, actually, I want to be in the picture. Before that, it's like, it's okay. You're calming you down, and again, hijacking you. Don't worry about that. You're in the group. You're in the crowd. Everything's fine. You're safe. You're supported. You're protected. You're going to survive. But what you want to do is, that worked for all of that. But I really want to stop doing that now. I really want to start living. Like I said, when you're running, you're hiding, you're freezing, all of this trauma response, it's really, really exhausting. And then you get to, when you really understand about it, you go, actually, I don't want to do this anymore. I just really want to live life. This other part that comes in, hijacks, takes over, does whatever it wants to, because it feels that this is where I need to go. It's going against what my value is, what my purpose is, what my soul wants me to do. So there's this internal conflict constantly happening. It's almost like, you want to take over the role, and the adult doesn't want you to, no, you're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. But it's just this internal mental thing that's actually still doesn't believe that you're ready. So that, again, the more that you can understand it, the more you understand the rules, the more that you can actually break the rules. You take one out, you put one back in. You never just break it and say, no, we're not doing that anymore, because this fawn then just gets wilder. It gets stronger. It goes, no, and then it can make you sick. It can, pull you down. If you've got, if you've got any of the addictions, food addiction, drinking addiction, whatever addiction, then it'll slap you with that, and then the other side will come in, and then it, the self-loathing, and then the self-punishment, then it just sends all of these different things. You will never do that to me again, so that's how controlling it is. But again, we have to keep just taking little bits and pieces, give it something else. So we are retraining it, but giving it a new role. The biggest thing is it needs a role, and it needs to know that you are the adult. It can then change it into something else. Another one is your vision. What vision do you have? What vision did you have to grow up? Sometimes we don't have a vision, but a lot of times, yeah, I'd really like to do that. I'd really like to do that. And Fawn, if it's out of the Fawn, if Fawn doesn't like doing it, then Fawn's just going to forfeit. Again, at forfeit. No. We want to go this way. Again, hijacks the adult, puts you to the back. No, we're doing this. And then when you're observing the whole thing, who is in boots and all to help somebody else's vision, to help your children, especially your children, and loved ones and close ones? You will do anything for them, but what you didn't receive as a child, you won't allow yourself to receive as an adult. This is what this Fawn is. It's keeping you there. You didn't get it, so we lock ourselves down, the Fawn. And then when we grow up, we're going to, then it turns out and it goes, I'm going to give it to everybody else. I'm going to make sure that they don't have that pain that I went through. They're never, ever going to feel that pain. So that's why you become the people pleaser, the helper, peacekeeper, because that's in the role. Because when I'm with somebody else, when I'm assisting them, then I don't have to worry about me because I'm included, I'm wanted, I'm needed. And so it feels that, when in actual fact on the inside it goes, but I don't want to do that. There's a voice in the inside that I want this. This vision that I have, this is where I want to go. And it's being able to, again, pull yourself back, observe it, and what do I want? That vision that I always wanted. So how can I get to doing that? And how can I allow myself to pull myself back in here and, really unite with your own inner child, and be the adult to your own inner child. And what do we want? And then getting the Fawn on your side. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I really like that. And then allow it to take control over what you do want. But if you can understand that whatever you didn't have, you're locked in, so that you've made you're safe, you're supported, you're protected, and you're surviving. But that little thing is just still going underneath here. And what we have to do is open the package up and allow you to reparent you to receive the things that you never received before. So all the things that you've been giving to other people, lovely, beautiful things, you really need to now know that you need to give it to yourself. And it's okay. Another thing is that when it's not okay to receive, because no, I don't trust those. You might have people giving you compliments. You might have people wanting to help you to the next level. You might have people wanting to, mentor you or, take you, to give you to the next level. And if Fawn doesn't like it, again, it forfeits and it hijacks. No, we don't trust that one. We trust ourselves, and the worst part is it'll put you into narcissistic relationships. In narcissistic relationships, you're wanted, you're needed, you serve. So that's all it knows. And meanwhile, there's another part of you, that's really getting bashed around or taken advantage of as well. Fawn doesn't mind that because you're in a relationship. It could be love relationship, it could be work relationship. And that's okay because it knows how to get around things. You are in amongst, you're going to survive because you're going to get paid or you're going to be looked after. But it's like, this is dysfunctional. You're still surviving, but it's dysfunctional all the way through. So it's understanding it. So then how do we change it, change the structures of it, and then put yourself into the future? So it's just, we see what it is, and that's why a whole week is dedicated to each one of these. And then you actually, so we talk about it, and then you actually get to, we do a meditation before you leave, but you actually get to visualize how that's played out in your life. And you're, oh, right. you're aware of it. You write the stuff down. You also then, what would I like to change it to? You know, so I've always wanted to do that, but I was wondering why I could never do that, why I was pulled back from it, because it already knows it doesn't want you to fail. It already knows it doesn't want you to get kicked out. It already knows. So it's trying to, that's the old. This is what I want, and this is what the new stuff is. Is there any questions so far? No,
it's all sounding very familiar.
Yeah. You know, there was a couple of times that you know, somebody offered me, you know, to listen, you know, we really think that you are the person who's going to go ahead with this. You know, we really want to back you. We really want to, you know, put everything into helping you succeed to go to the next level. And I'm going, oh, this is really, really good. And anyway, when it was coming to the time, you know, coming up to the time of, okay, yeah, this is it. Just in my mind, I'm just going, no, you know, I had this dream. No, I've got to do such and such. No. And it was like so powerful. I thought it was soul talking to me and saying, no, you've just got to go and do this other week-long course. This is going to be the fabulous thing. And then when you do that, it's going to break you through, and then you're going to do this. And I broke these people's hearts. And I just said, look, I really can't. I've already booked in. This is what I need to do. And again, I just said this, you know, I was just so determined, or so in tune that it was soul speaking. And then when I've looked back on it, you know, 12 months later, because I'm going, oh, that was really, I worked out really good, you know, but it was like, oh, wow, that was the hijacking, you know, I was pretending, you know, and I broke their hearts. And I'm going, oh, wow, oh, my God, you know, I felt really sick, you know, and I just thought, oh, my goodness me, there's the hijacking. There's the you know, it just takes over. And, you know, and then you stay and you see everybody else who was then took your place, who have moved forward. And that really makes you sick then as well. No, you would never, and then the talk goes, you never survive. You would never do that. That's not what the fawn wanted. And then after, I'd say probably about 12 months after that, I realized that I started working on this, you know, finding out about this fawn. I'm going, oh, wow. Okay. So then there's a lot of forgiveness. There's a lot of grief that comes up. So we're dealing with that over the whole course, because there's going to be grief coming up. I missed out. I lost. I didn't get to do, you know, so you really have to allow all emotions to come up, allow them to, you know, and once the grief comes up, once the emotions come up, then it's really good for cleansing, new energy to come through. So once that grief is gone, because it's like if you leave it lingering in the background, yeah, I saw that, you realize that, but I actually didn't deal with the grief, then the grief is going to eat at you and then take you somewhere else where you don't need to. So the more that you're in tune with what's actually, always get the picture of, you know, of a jail, and you have all of those, you know, all of those lines of all of the rooms, and they're all locked, and you have this guard walking. But once you're starting to finish, you're seeing the doors are open, they're free. You know, that's why I'm saying fawn to fearless to freedom, because it was fearless. Yeah, this is where I need to understand what this is. I need to walk out. I need to do such and such. And then the freedom is when you can actually start seeing those doors open. The more doors that are open, the less the fawn has control over you, because you can actually pick it. You can see where it what happens when you trigger. You're very in tune with yourself. You go, oh, yep, and then you have a small time frame to make a choice. Before that, it's a split second. It's taken away from you. But the more that you're aware of it, you go, actually, I choose no. You know, and then you get that confidence back up in your own self. The compassion, you go, yeah, that worked a long time ago, but it's not working for me now. I choose not to have that anymore. So it's you're getting a bigger time frame of making choices. Before you start the course, you would never dare to change your mind. When you say something, oh God, I've done it wrong. I'm not making a scene. I'll just go ahead with it. I'll put my head on the chopping block. I won't worry about it. But the more that you're aware of it and you're getting more control, you can see, okay, so behind the scenes, I see how this has been playing out. And the thing is, we think it's somebody else on the outside that are betraying us, that they're using us, when in actual fact, that's just a reflection of what's actually happening on the inside. So the more, I understand why you did it, but now I'm in charge. And while I'm in charge, I would like you to do such and such a job. So you give it another job, because that's what it wants to do. It has a job. So we're just taking these little things off of it, and then giving it a different job all the time. Then eventually it goes, oh, that was a really good idea. It was my idea. So the form becomes your friend, and it allows your freedom. It allows the things that on a soul level, whatever is meant for you is always still on the outside of your safe circle that Fawn has created for you. And all we're doing is expanding it out, allowing a little bit more in, then eventually you are at the edge of your soul space, and you have all of those sorts of things in. And then Fawn is actually working with you. You'll understand what the self-sabotage is. You'll understand what the inner critics are, because the inner critics are also, and the self-sabotaging, self-punishing is part to do with the Fawn stuff as well. The more that you can, again, it's just getting free, more freedom. When you're into more freedom, then there's more abundance starting to come into your life. You'll see differently, you'll be differently, you'll be, reflecting, or you'll be receiving. Our biggest one is receiving, as I was saying before. No, it's really hard. And the Fawn changes things over. So no, I don't need to receive it, or I don't need to, these people who are ready to back me. They could see the light in me, or they could see what the potential in me. But in that split second, this how it forfeited. It was like, no, you don't deserve that. You're not worthy. You're not valuable enough. It was almost like turning into a slave. So it's going back over the other way, and it's like, now it's opening up to receive, and it's just allowing yourself, once you're there, you're there. Vision, value, the vulnerability, being able to, Fawn creates such a hard exterior, like armor, so that nothing can pierce that. But on the inside, we were talking about it, Mel, yesterday, with the softness on the inside. Yeah, but it's like, while I'm on guard, you're never allowed to ever be that, because you would never, the biggest thing is you would never survive. But when you have a look back, who you are now, how much you actually have survived since whatever happened, oh wow, I've been living this lie all this time. So how can I change that? How can I honor that? How can I have gratitude for it? And how can I, and then enhance it to go to the next level? Vulnerability, visibility, the vision, the value. Your value and your worth is a really big one. You are no value, and your worth, that you're not, your self-worth and your self-value. When you don't value yourself, because I'm nothing, but when I'm helping somebody else, I'm only of value, and I'm only worth anything when I'm actually helping somebody else. And that's the empath, that's the people pleaser, and it's just sort of like, again, taken over, hijacked, and thinking that that's what I need to do to get anywhere in life. Again, you are surrounded, you're included, you're in somebody else's life, and you've forgotten your own life. The biggest thing is we seem to be outside, helping other people, but not for ourselves. We're only ever important And Fawn will only ever allow us when we're assisting somebody else to go to the next level, when we're helping them in their vision, when they're helping them out of trouble, you know, those types of things. Fawn is quite happy for us to do it. And as soon as you pull it back and say, I'm not doing this anymore, then you'll get kickback from the people that you've been helping, from the people that you've been pleasing. So then Fawn goes, see, I told you, you know, you will never survive. So it's almost like you have to stay in relationships, in workplaces longer, because Fawn won't allow you to change. It's just a horrible. It had to do it, you know, and you do, once you are aware of it and you step back from it, you can actually say, I understand what you did, but I choose not to do that anymore. Again, it's a big choice comes into it. Before that, it's like, just do what you're told, put your head down, shut up, don't say anything at all. And it's just, you know, make it, you know, helping you cope, because again, it just doesn't realize how old you are, you know, and the more that you can actually pull yourself back in and say, actually, I'm not doing this anymore. I need to, you know, your biggest thing is over the whole thing is that Fawn is doing all of this in your, it's got your younger self as a hostage, and it's feeding off that. So the last time something happened, you spoke up, you did something for yourself, see what actually happened, and then it enlarges it, nervous system, you're about to do something which is really fantastic, and then it just freaks out. No, you're not. Hijack, you know, self-sabotage, cut you down. You look like I said, I felt like, you know, go, no, I'm just doing this. It's going to be something so much better on the outside. But the amount, you know, of hurting somebody else. And then when I realized, it was like how hurt I was that I actually said, no, I don't want your help. So it's like, you know, helping you understand that, but then putting yourself in the adult shoes and then filling yourself up with all the things that you would never allow, you could never receive, you wouldn't allow yourself to receive, or Fawn wouldn't allow yourself to receive. So then you make a big note of all of those sorts of things. Again, it's just a big observing thing. You're seeing how it actually happened. The end result always is you survived, you're here, you're alive, and that's all that Fawn thinks of. But now I want to now start living. I don't want to run. I don't want to be hijacked. I don't want to look like this, because you can never see what's actually happening until after it's finished. And then you look back. You go, oh God. But on a soul level, you can always change that. You can go up, you forgive yourself, you forgive, you know, how it all happened. You release yourself from it. And then on a soul level, then the new energy must come down. Again, the same with receiving. All the things, the universe actually sees how much you've done, knows everything about you. And then when you're connecting with the superconscious, then that energy that you've been expending all the time must come back into your life in a different form later on. So all the way through this course, you'll also be connecting to your superconscious, and you're doing intuitive work as well. Your intuitive work is doing the awareness, you know, observing, oh my God, this happened then, this, you know, this happened to me before that. The more that you can actually be the observer, that's when you can actually start claiming back what is yours. The more that when you're really in superconscious, then you can actually see, it's almost like superconscious, you can see what's actually been happening. You know what's actually about to, you know, coming into the future, or what you want, your vision, your goals, your dreams, your desire, your love even. And it's allowing, you know, then you're connected, and it's almost like a support with you. You know, it's like your guardian angel comes in and takes over, and then, you know, talks to your Fawn Trauma Response, and then allows you to be released. But before that, you know, it's just, this is my job. I have to get this child to the end of its life, no matter what, you know. And it's like Peter Pan, you're still Peter Pan and Wendy, but you're 50, 60, 70 years old. And then you go, what? So it doesn't matter when you wake up. It's when you wake up, you're doing the work. And then the universe is actually then starting to confirm with you and share with you, what else would you like? You might even, some of these things that I'm looking at here, there might be some of the things, and vision, one of the week on the vision, you actually get to do a vision board, and we set it all up, how you're going to do it. But first off, you're seeing, I wanted to do this, or I wanted to have this, or I wanted, your vision and your dreams. And then you'll understand the fawn just said, no, we're not doing that. And then eventually it's hijacked you. They call it amnesia as well. You go, oh, I forgot about that. Okay. So then you're not going to go for it. But in these sessions, in the meditations, you'll be able to see, oh, that was just like watered down. That was put away. Now, what do I want to bring into the future? And then that might come back in, whatever was put away there. I can't ever do that because of whatever it is. You can actually bring that back in. And then we'll do a little meditation, and then you've got to, what would you like on there? And then you get to go away and find pictures, find words that express what your vision would be. And then you get to create that vision. And then we all get, then the next time that we meet after that, then you actually get to say, and this is what's happening. Oh my God. And you both know when we do the new moon wishes and we visualize that wish and we go, oh my gosh, what does it feel like? See that? And we just really imprint it. Well, when we have the vision board, you're going to read it out like as if this is already yours and you're doing a class presentation. You go, oh my gosh, this is so great. I'd like to introduce you to, I've got this car and I've got this and I'm going to the beach. But you're living it and you're embodying it. And then, we are all not just you, we're all doing it in a big circle. So everybody's energy is also on a soul level directed at you, and they're going, almost like putting blessings into it, for it to come true. After that, all the way through, you get to put stars on those things that actually come true as they come true as well. Visibility, vulnerability, your vision. Yeah. The thing out of the whole, the end result of all of it is you are more in tune with how it's functioned, and how then you train it to do what you want it to do from now on. So it's not scared of you. It's not scared for you. It's not fearful for you. It's actually, becomes your cheerleader, or it becomes, oh my gosh, you can do this. And, to encourage you and inspire you. That's the end result of all of it. So again, so that you can actually live life, that you can actually get on with life. And this is just a foundation. This is not just, one thing. Yeah, it's finished now. This is where you take it, because over life, there's different levels that actually come up. Some of the girls, 6 months later, they go, oh my God, I really needed that, because something else has come up. And I just went back into, say, visibility, and this come up for me. And I was just realized how it'd been sitting in the background, and then all of a sudden it's come to the surface. And rather than just put it back, they just went back through that one process of the visibility. And they said it was just amazing. But they could see how it was starting to come up. It's coming up to, the universe is always testing us. Are you still going to do the same thing? Are you still going to do the same result? But once you have this foundation, it's like you're in charge. There you are again. Hey, come on. Because this has been in charge of you for all the time. And we've been taking the fingers off. A lot of times it just wants to creep back in. When you're not looking, when you're not worried, when you're doing something else, it just creeps back in. and then starts taking over your life again. This is what I like. And then you, no, you know, and then here we go again. Because it's been your comfort zone. It's been there forever and ever. And it doesn't, you know, so it's just being mindful. And when it comes up, it comes up. Some things mightn't come up for another 12 months, but it's already there. You've already got the foundation. You already know, you're already working at, you know, changing. You're already working as well as to receiving. You know, that's when the gates start opening. You go, oh, wow. Oh, that's really great. You know, your vision is starting to happen. Your abundance is starting to overflow as well. You're not being hijacked as much. You have that little window of choice. Even if you said yes, you can actually say you have the confidence and courage on the inside. Actually, no, it doesn't feel really good. You know, you're really in tune with the body. Whenever, you know, and bring you back into your body. Fawn doesn't like you in the body, because when you're in the body, that's why it needed to, that's usually why it's taken over, because at some stage when you get, you know, as a little kid, you get scared or you get frightened and you jump out. Well, that's a soul fragment, and we call it the criticized child. And the criticized child, where did I put it? The criticized child, chastised child, ugly child, unwanted child, unloved child, the bullied child, the scapegoat child, all of any of those types of things are actually, I'll leave my body there, I'm out of here. And it's calling all of those parts back into the body, because on a soul level, nobody can, you know, anything can happen to your body, break it, you know, whatever it was, but nobody can touch your soul. Nobody can taint your soul ever. So that's why the soul fragments, you're out of your body. You can, a lot of times when you're having your sessions, you can see what's actually happened, but I'm not in my body. I'm not grounded. I'm not there. So it's constantly through the whole session, through the whole course, it's making sure that you are grounded, that you are here and now in this present moment, and you're making the choice that is right for you and your inner child. And, you know, it's almost like you're first and everybody else is second. Before that, everybody else is second, third, fourth, fifth, you're last. So it's just making sure that whatever you didn't have as a child, you're making sure that you're allowing yourself to have it now. Feeling it, seeing it, again, filling up all the senses. So the more that, you know, again, it's just being aware of it, then you can start creating, you can start receiving, you can start asking. The biggest thing is using our voice. And the other part of all of this is being able to be held in a beautiful, loving, sacred embrace. Because what you're going to be doing at the end of it is speaking out, is standing up, is, you know, having your vision, standing up for yourself, you know, things that you've never had before. So again, you're going to have kickback. And before that, you learnt to shut up, just do what you're told, just keep it there, because you have to have that money, you have to have that love, you have to have that home, lie. But in the loving embrace of all of that, all souls connected, you get stronger. You actually get to speak out in the circles, and you actually get to say what you never got to say. And the more that you can actually do that, plus journaling, you know, with all the other things that we actually do, expressing yourself, your voice gets stronger, your stance gets stronger, your, you know, your persona, your aura. And people are just going, oh, okay, well, we won't say anything about it. But it's learning your boundaries. Before that, you had no boundaries. You were everybody else's. I'll have a piece of this, I'll have a piece of that, I'll have this, I'll have that. You know, the old Pac-Mans, you know, the old Pac-Man game. It's like that, you know, but it's like everybody else has taken a chunk out of you. And then we're calling all of those parts back to you. Actually, I own this, and this is what I am. And then it's allowing you to be all that you can be from then on. But it's also then rejoicing as to the changes. And the changes don't just happen in that, in that 8 weeks. The changes continue to happen, and 12 months later, people are going, oh, can you believe this? This is just absolutely fantastic. Because whatever you're doing, creating, pulling back, actually that belongs to me. That belongs to me. And even if you could think about, your little self, you're actually going back and collecting as an adult. You're going back over this whole 8 weeks and collecting all of these things that other people have of you. How they've controlled you, how they've taken from you, how you're a slave to them, whatever it is. It's like putting your own little child back together in the way that you choose for yourself. But it's also inside your heart space, not up there, not over there, not, banished, exiled. The shadow, the dark shadows that we talk about, those dark shadows are they are what you need to go forward. So instead of saying that's really bad, I shouldn't be really doing that, don't do that because nobody wants you, nobody will love you. It's like, I need some kick-ass chick, like, an outspoken one. I want you here, and how can I use that? So it's integrating. We're not kicking off, we're not cutting off. We're looking at them compassionately and just, whatever comes up. It's like, I understand that nobody else liked that about you, but I think that's fantastic. And I really want to, inspire that part to come through. However it's going to come through, it's like, but it's you, picking up all of these things and bringing them back so that you can be all that you can be, the best that you can be, for as long as you want to live after this as well. You've lived to this age. Now it's time to then, thrive. I don't need to run. I don't need to hide. I don't need to be silent. I don't need to be the chameleon anymore, and then you'll end up starting to attract your tribe as well from that day forward. So now, is there any questions like blah, 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 blah. So the more, so any questions? No.
So how long does the course go for, Bernie?
The course is 8 weeks.
Okay, so we're sort of dealing with like voice and visibility and value, one of those topics each week, are we?
Each week, yeah.
Oh.
So the first week we start it all, and we're doing a big ceremony. We put the foundation down. This is what the routines for each, what you need to do, the routines, the journaling, getting it all together. So next week we're going to be starting the voice. So in the meantime, I want you to, and there'll be questions. So leading up to that voice week, so there'll be different questions the week before. So, where did you lose your voice? What other things actually happened? So there's questions. So what it's doing, it's eliciting. Oh, okay, radio. So it's giving your mind something else to go look for. If I just said, okay, next week we're doing the voice and we want to know all the times that you got into trouble for speaking out, the fawn is going to come forward. It goes, amnesia. Can't remember anything. We're not going there. We're not going there because I know what's going to happen. Those doors are going to be open and I just can't deal with that. But these questions will elicitate, and it gives the mind, oh my God, yeah. Da, 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 da. So it becomes a nice little puppy and it wants to help you. Fawn is just gone, you're not getting in.
Do we get the questions before the session? Like so we're starting on Monday night, are we?
I'm going to do Friday mornings.
So the course is going to be on Friday mornings, is it?
Friday mornings, yeah.
At 10 o'clock.
Your 10 o'clock, yes.
Okay, right.
And it's 90 minutes, an hour and a half.
Okay, that's another thing I wanted to know. How long? So it's from 10 till 11:30.
Yes, your time down there. Yep.
Okay.
Each week is, like I said, we will work on some. So when we come to the second week, will be voice, and so we're working through that, and then you'll get questions about your value, your self-worth.
Okay.
Then the next week is all about vision, and then we'll be doing some questions about vision, but what are some of the things that you put into the background, you know, that you've, or what are some of the things, a really good one is, what are some of the things you helped somebody else achieve that you would have liked to have achieved? So that's another way of really putting it. It goes, because when you help somebody else achieve it, then you're pushed away. No, I don't need you anymore. And so there's a part of you still, oh, okay. So what I'm doing is asking you to go and find all these parts of you that are still wanting. I really wished I had that. I really want that. So it's you picking up all of these little soul breadcrumbs of you all over your life. Visibility, where, you know, visibility being the chameleon. Where are you the chameleon in your life? You know, and allowing that to come up. Where would you like to be? What would you like to do? Vulnerability, you know, being able to be seen, being able to be raw. That's a big one. That's a really big one. But in the sessions, it's allowing you to, you know, what is your saddest moment, or what really hurts you? You know, it's being able to open up and be able to share your open heart, and know that in the circle, only the people there, their heart is going to be open wide as well, with compassion, no judgment, criticism. When I see the criticized child, it also then attracts criticism, comparing, judgment, and then it's condemned. So when I'm asking for vulnerability, it's allowing us to be sitting in compassion only. And whatever the person is talking about usually will open, you know, somebody else. Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that. You know, so if that happens to you, then you allow, when it's that person's turn, and then we ask at the end of it as well, when it's that person's turn, then that person gets to say, you know, this happened as well. Oh, that belongs to me as well. Again, all these things are hidden in the background, not for you to step forward. The vulnerability one is the hardest one to, and that's why I leave it to the end of the course. But after that, it's sort of like, you'll understand why the vulnerability will always never allow you to be open and seen by anybody, because that can control you. So you can't, you know, and then it carries on. It doesn't trust other people. Other people have betrayed me. Other people have taken advantage. Other people have humiliated me. So it's a really big thing to try and get past that fawn. So there's a couple of different things that I do to get you there. But the more that you're open and honest about, you know, whatever this is, the more energy that light can come in, freedom can come in. When you own whatever this is, nobody can ever control you, ever. Yes, that's who I was. Yes, that's what it is. Outside, you know, in that circle, that's fine. But outside, you don't have to say anything, because you've already owned it. You've already spoken it. You've brought it up to the surface in a sacred circle. You put it up, and you're almost like taking it up and go, here, I've been holding this all this time. I'm so embarrassed, shamed, guilted, pain, suffering, burdened. And it's like, I don't want to hold this anymore. You know, and it's allowing that to be taken. The more that, again, the more that you can release out, nobody can control you. Because whenever you hold that in, people can shame you, people can, you know, blame you or guilt you. What does it look like? You know, that's a big trigger. If you, you know, if you've got something inside that you are holding on to, that you're really ashamed of, and you won't allow anybody else to know about it, you make a belief there, you know, that I'm ugly, that, you know, that I'm not wanted, something else like that. It becomes a little belief underneath all of it. And then that belief, then your fawn has to then prove to everybody else that you're not. So I'm, you know, one of the clients was useless. I'm a useless child, you know, after all of the stuff, and she was so ashamed of lots of things. But underneath, the bottom line was, I'm a useless kid. you know, because that's what she was told she was. And that belief then changed her into proving to everybody else that she was not useless. So this was used against her without realizing that she would make sure that she was so helpful, so in there, you know, pleasing and everything else for everybody else. But when the relationship ended, they would call her useless. You're just useless. They've just used her for so many years or used her for whatever it was. But at the end of it, the feeling that she got was, I'm just useless. So when you can understand you're going backwards into it. So what is it that you're proving to other people that you're actually not? That, you know, but it's actually you are holding that. It's not your truth, but that's what you were made to believe about you. So that's what this vulnerability one is. You will ask you for one, but you'll be able to then go through a lot up more and you go, oh my God, that feels so good. You know, finally, you know, and you just get this big sigh. Finally, someone, you know, that's been taken off me. It's such a heavy thing to hold on to, you know, and hold the lid on. I'm not useless, you know, and I'm not useless. I'm not ugly. I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb. Whatever it is that you may have there, once you actually release it, it's such a big sigh, and your compassionate adult self, you were never that. I would never ever think that. And when I'm looking at all of, you know, how this little child has proved itself to so many people, and it's still proving itself, you take that off and you say, oh, you're not proving that anymore because you aren't. You were stupid or you were whatever to such and such. And so like take that pain, the burdens, and hand it back to the sender, and you give it back that way. So the more that you can actually understand that, it's like, again, it's such a big relief that, you know, this is who I am. So what? You know, they can't shame you. They can't put any more burdens on you. They can't put any more guilt on you because, you know, I am who I am. It's me, you know, and the superconscious or your highest divine already knows all about it. And it's got nothing to do with anybody down here to control me or take my life anymore. So does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a big one. That's the biggest one that Fawn doesn't like letting go. And that's why we work up to it. Yeah. And again, you know, just it's such a sigh of relief, you know, that somebody else knows the truth. I think it's more somebody else knows the truth. And, you know, the first group that I had, one of them couldn't speak it, but she actually got to write it, you know, and she wrote all the stuff out that she needed as we're going through the circle. And then she could actually see why, you know, why she was so, because other people humiliated her, you know, several times. So again, it goes close, don't do that. But in the safety and the love of the circle, she was able to express, you know, that's all it is express it, you know, however she wanted. She was swearing and you know, whatever she needed. I was like, got it off her chest, finished it, handed it back to the senders, you know, and then, you know, just worked a little bit more on her own self, you know. The next week that she came, she just said, oh, that was just, again, such a relief that I could actually, now I can actually finish it. Now I'm actually done. Yeah. And again, it doesn't, you know, again, the triggers, and then you can have a look at how it's actually, you know, it's controlled you. It's kept you controlled. It's kept you quiet. It's kept you small. You know, if I get to, you know, if I get to a higher level, or if I get to be a boss or something else like that, and this is always underneath here, this is the thing that won't ever allow you ever to get to the heights that you ever want to. You've got no idea. You know, I'm wanting to go there. I'm working there. It's just really fantastic. And underneath, this is the secret that doesn't want to ever be divulged. You know, and so there's just this friction. What the hell? But this is the one that owns you. And once you understand it and open it up and release it, what would you replace it with? Freedom, love, abundance, joy, you know, exploration, adventure. A little kid always wants adventures. A little kid always wants to, you know, experience. Always think about whenever you're working with your inner child that you're actually, the inner child is, you know, going from crawling to walking. So when you're going to reparent your inner child, you're not going to be bashing it and saying, how stupid of you. Think that it's, you know, it's got to fall over. It's got to tumble. It's got to get its legs strong in a different direction because it's been captive for such a long time. And what you're doing is you're allowing it to, you know, to fall over, to learn different ways to experience. This is how you do it. Explore a different way of being, you know, take yourself on adventures, but just to get it out of there and into your heart space. That's the biggest thing with it all. Yeah. So it's 8 weeks. It's you will get the questions, the lead up questions beforehand to, it's called elicitation beforehand. We are in our Facebook group if you want to be in the Facebook group as well. Elicitation. It's every Friday. It's not our 9 till 10:30. It's recorded, and you'll also get the recordings. There's meditations that you have access to as well. There'll be, you know, dreams, goals that you are allowing as well. You know, that you, whatever you want to bring into it, you know, do I need help? So you're going to use your voice. I need help with. So it's learning how to speak up. It's learning how to, you know, be part of, you know, to be included in it by you know, putting your opinions in, putting your, you know, whatever you want in there as well. So it's getting you to be connected instead of, no, just do what you're told, just go along with the flow. It's, you know, just helping you. It's allowing you to have discussion as well. It's not my way or the highway. There is a discussion. Yeah. So there's, yeah, it's just undoing. And like I said, it's been there for such a long time. Thank you so very much for being there. But now, again, you know, if you can retrain this and become the master of it and, you know, be aware of it and use it for good. So use it for the good of all. But it's using it for the good and the highest good of you, you know, instead of, you know, so allowing you to be all that you can be, you know, to be out there, to the biggest one is to receive, you know, to start receiving, to start, you know, softening, you know, because this is, you know, at the end of it, you know, and you'll even, you know, the visualization, I'm wanting to get your intuition, you know, you need to start your intuition back again and your instincts to come back again as well. So the more that you can, you know, work with this, the imagination, the visualization, the intuition, your body's going to, instead of being hijacked, your body's going to be, this is really good to go to, this is really not good to go to. Whereas before that, it's just a slave. Yeah, just go over there. Just be the chameleon. When in actual fact, I hate being the chameleon. I really want to be standing out or whatever it is. So it's allowing whatever is holding you back or whatever you want to. It's assisting you as we go through as well. Yeah. So the price of it, if you pay in full, it's $909 for the 8 weeks. And the ones who pay in full, you're going to also then get a free intuitive call, 45-minute free intuitive call. And in that intuitive call is to go into your, it's called the land of plenty, or your vision, your future vision as well. So that's if you pay in full. If you want to pay it off, then it's $1,128. So it's $141 per week for the 8 weeks if you want to pay it off. But I will send all of this out to you as well in an email. But like I said, it's just, this is, a lot of them did the course and then did private sessions. You two have done private sessions, and now it's like, now you're going to be able to say, that's where it came in. And it's really, you just have such gratitude. Thank you. Without you, I would not be still alive. I'm still pissed off with you. Like, we could have had an easier life, but it doesn't matter when it happens. It's like, thank you so very much. Now on a soul level, I get, with my entourage with me, not me. Can you imagine the fighting that you've done on the inside? Like, punching yourself up and self-sabotage. What the hell have I done? When in actual fact, this has been the way of life for such a long time, and now I really want to be free. So that's why it's from fawn to fearless to freedom. The freedom of receiving, the freedom of, going where you need to go, but with the entourage, not, fighting against it. So that's it, ladies.
Well, thank you, Bernie. That's very informative, and I'll see you on Friday, the 21st of October at 9 a.m. your time, 10 a.m.
Yes. Yeah.
So Bernie, when are you planning on kicking this off?
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
Next Friday, 21st. And the thing is, like, this is the eclipse season. This is the eclipse season, and I'm just going, I didn't think about it, but I'm just going, thank you. Like, I'm just being guided. The eclipse is, and I've been told that it's, I'll get to that soon, sweep it under the carpet, put it in the cupboard, and when eclipses come, the eclipses open all the cupboards, they take up all the carpets, and then you are left to deal with the shit. Deal with the shit that you couldn't deal with before. So no. It's because you were too busy before. You were too busy in somebody else's life. You were too busy doing all of the fawn stuff. And now it's all like, in the retrogrades, it's like, here's the spotlight. Get over there and do that. So it's just a perfect timing. Again, it's with the support, the love of all the souls that are in the circle as well.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good, Bernie.
So thank you. I'd love to have you along, Mel.
Thank you for that.
That's all right. Enjoy your holidays and your weekend, I should say. And I look forward to being with both of you, hopefully next Friday morning.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic, Bernie.
All right, have a lovely day, Bernie.
Okay, thanks a lot, lady.
Bye. Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Bye.